5 seconds.
Good morning. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill from the KMET Weather Center. For the Beaumont and the Banning area, as we go through the daytime hours on your Wednesday, there'll be sunny skies. Expect highs around 70 degrees. For the daytime hours in the IE area, there'll be sunny skies, highs in the mid-70s. And for the daytime hours in the Coachella Valley, sunny skies, highs in the upper 70s. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Good to have you on today's show. We've got a lot going on, and it is the day before our family and friends get to meet up and say, is there some good food? I know I'm thinking fall is obviously one of my favorite kind of seasons of the year. Obviously, I'm always thinking of pumpkin pie. I'm thinking of eggnog. I'm thinking of family and friends. Who are you going to get together with? Are you going to be able to get together in person? Are you going to do so in a safe manner? That's always important. I know last year we had kind of concerns about that, especially here in the Los Angeles area. And unfortunately, we had a huge spike 3 weeks later. So the question is, are you going to be at least safe than we were last year? I know last year there was so many things going on, and there were so many stories about it's still not true, it's still not real, and I think we're kind of past that. I think if anything, we kind of remember to wear our face masks, even though we don't like it, and then a good majority of us have been vaccinated since last year, which we didn't have any vaccinations. At least we have some answer to this, which I know has definitely curbed the number overall. But still, we've lost so many in the last year. The question, I think, for all of us is, going forward, are we thankful this year? And I think every year we're thankful around this time, whether you believe in the Christopher Columbus set sail for the ocean blue, which he did technically, or you're not much about the whole indigenous thing. I say, at the very least, it's good to be thankful. I know Canada celebrates in a different way, but they, I think, do so at a different time. So I know some people think of Black Friday, some people think of family, some people think of friends, some people just think of just, what am I thankful for? Am I grateful for anything, especially during these weird days? But I will say this, whatever it is, be glad we're alive and we can affect change here on this earth. That's what I like to say. It's not always easy, I'll tell you that. But, if you've lived in the past year and a half here on this earth, you probably have had some form of really bad stress in some way or capacity. I know I've lost some very dear friends due to this pandemic, but I've also lost friends due to other really bad things as well that all have like a cyclical effect. And I think I've attended like several funerals, one like in a row, like a string of them. And I was just like, what is going on? But having said that, we got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there, who's always keeping a positive, bright eye over there. Right, Jesse? What's going on?
Good morning. Yeah, I always try and keep a positive little beat to myself because honestly, things could always be worse. That's all I got to keep to myself. Things could always get worse. As long as I have food in my belly and a roof over my head, I'm okay.
Yeah, I agree with you on that 100%. I know I've said to several people, there's no shame, especially those homeless. I will say this, during this year, I've probably come across 8 families that were truly homeless, and some are ready to go homeless as of last year. I said, please just remember, keep a job if you can, even if you don't like it, keep it while you can. I know that sometimes it's nice when you have the ability to kind of see if there's several different several different jobs that you can get, and possibly maybe several different homes that you might look at, maybe in a more affordable location. I know there's some areas where I was looking at, everybody knows I used to live in the high desert in Victorville. Rent was very cheap up there. Rent still is actually cheap there than it is here. Of course, you got to take into account driving and other such things. But I think if anything, there's so many good things to be at least thankful for, at least during this time of the month, that I think. I think the question is, are you going to have a what I would call a stressful, or was it a stress giving day or a Thanksgiving day? Which is it going to be, Jesse? Are you going to have a stress giving day or a Thanksgiving day or just stress giving weekend or stress giving all day, all month, all every month?
No, no, no. I'm trying not to keep any stress. No, it'll be a Thanksgiving. I have gonna spend some time with my fiance's family tomorrow, and then on Friday I'm gonna spend time with my family. And so by the time Monday comes around, I'm probably gonna need some like stretchy pants,
Yeah.
or I have no idea. I'm glad it only goes up to like right here. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
prepared to get fat.
there's nothing like some good fun with some good friends. And I will say this: if you're at, I meet a lot of people that are sometimes, away from their family, and I say, well, you know what, get on Zoom or get on Facebook or get on Instagram, with a bunch of your friends, and don't be isolated. That's always what I say, especially since last year. I saw so many people isolating kind of by themselves. Sometimes our senior citizens or our family or friends, are isolating in certain areas, whether they be in a nursing home or not. And I say, during this time, please do not forget the ones who are alone and just check in on them. It doesn't hurt just to be like, especially during a day like Thanksgiving or any other day, which is really big about family. And you think sometimes everybody has somebody, when in reality, some people just don't. They just kind of like, oh, I'm just not going to do anything this day. But there's that whole, like, it's kind of like on Valentine's Day if you don't have a love of your own. And I know, like, this year, Jesse, you had, your love and Valentine's Day was good for you. But you ever think about, like, the times when, and nobody wants to admit it. I'll be the first one to admit it. Like on Valentine's Day, as much as I've never really celebrated it ever. There's still that, like, when you see other people with their loved ones, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. And you just got to get through the day. And then you get through the day, and the next day you're like, okay, it must be breakup season. Yeah. So, but I'm saying just, enjoy the moments that you have while we have them, right? We don't know what's going to happen on the other side of whatever this life is. And those that we have lost, I think it's an important time to remember them and say, I'm thankful for the moments that I had with them each and every day. I think of those that I've lost, and I think of those that maybe some of you have lost. And sometimes we have to have a somber note first before we say, okay, what would they say to us to maybe say, keep going, keep pushing, keep getting through this, right? Get through this stupid pandemic. Let's get back to the way we were, before the pandemic. I remember the days before the pandemic, and we're kind of seeing kind of a leveling off in certain areas. In other areas, it's not the same thing. I've seen people's personalities kind of change. I've seen people get, what I would call like anxiety driven. I was at a store yesterday, which I needed to get my hard drive, saved, and there are places where you can get your, hard data saved. I don't know if you've ever lost a hard drive, Jesse, and you've had to recover. Has that ever happened?
No, it has not. I get paranoid on certain things, so I always keep backups of certain things
Yeah.
on drives and like portable hard drives and whatnot. So I never keep it on just one hard drive.
Yeah, I'm going to say this right here, right now. I definitely am going to invest in online hard drives or whatever they call it, right? The clouds or something. Because if you lose your data, that is it, right? Except there's this place that I went to. I won't say them unless it works. But the lady was stressed out, and she kind of came at me like, I almost was like, do I want to shop here or not? I've done it before. I need this hard drive. But she was kind of rude, and I was like, I'm not very happy right now. But I was like, okay, I need this hard drive just, taken care of. And I've been noticing the service in certain industries are kind of like, almost like, how do I say it? Like, you better be thankful they're open. You know what I mean? When it's like, you should be thankful I'm bringing my money to you. It's expensive to recover a hard drive. It's like $350. Yeah, so it's like, so it was a little bit of like rudeness, and I was like, I'm not going to call it out because I need this fixed. I'm just going to go ahead and go along with it. But I will say this, during this time that we're in, usually during the November and December months, we usually see a nice, fun time. And I say, let's go back to that, all right? Let's take the next couple months. Let's mindfully say, you know what? Let's think about each other. We're on this planet together. Let's get through it, so we can get to 2022. I know 2021 for everybody was a mixed bag, right? I don't know what we're going to say at the end of this year as to what we're happy or not happy with at the end of the day. I think it was like a slow crawl for some, and others it was just, I mean, eventful for others. I know you've gone through a lot of changes this year from last year, right? And as a person, I think you've grown too.
I would hope so. I've grown as a person. Honestly, there are times where I read the news and I see like stories. I'm like, is this real? I because I'm reading the story right now. I don't quite understand it. I kind of believe like I'm living in a twilight zone right now from this headline.
Oh God, please share it.
Donald Trump awarded honorary ninth degree Taekwondo black belt. Now outranks Chuck Norris.
Wait,
Um,
what? Since when
at,
did he? What?
so at am I living in the twilight zone right now?
Whoa,
I
whoa, whoa! All right. Hold on. All right. Let's defend Trump for a minute. I mean, he always gets kind of by us the. Oh wow, this is a real thing. He took a picture with some people. Um, he outranks Chuck. Who could outrank Chuck Norris ever?
Okay, I thought that was just a fake article. Oh my God, it's real. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I okay. So what? How? Why? Can you give me some perspective on this?
I don't know. I'm gonna say Chuck Norris. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is yeah, I don't know. Now do I make Donald Trump jokes like do you know why the earth spins?
Why?
Because Chuck Norris wills it.
Oh, right. Of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Kukkiwon or Kukkiwon, a Taekwondo governing body based in South Korea. Okay, all right, I see that. I see. They probably didn't test him. Presented the former president with an honorary ninth Dan black belt at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida over the weekend. Oh, got it. Okay, so he's having, his resort moments. And, well, that makes sense, Jesse. He's, giving the guy
I
the resort treatment.
I guess, but doesn't it kind of like take away the honor and like the severity of the ninth degree Taekwondo black belt? And if that's the case, can I get one so I can outrank Chuck Norris?
Kukkiwon President Lee Dong-sup presented Trump with the honor, which is considered the highest level a professional martial artist can achieve. Lee told local outlet Dung Alibo, or Dungabo, I heard that Donald Trump is highly interested in Taekwondo. Okay, highly interested, and being like qualified for this is oddly interesting. But you know what? Some people don't know. You don't always know when somebody knows something. Like I was taking Wing Chun for quite some time. I'm still, practicing it. But, nobody knows, sometimes what you do behind closed doors. So maybe he is at that level, Jesse. You don't know.
He might be at that level. He might be a little bit lower. To be honest, it'd be kind of interesting to see, Donald Trump take out ninjas using his martial arts skills. But I don't know. It's just funny to imagine.
Well, he definitely met with Kyle Rittenhouse at Mar-a-Lago, and he's taking pictures with recently acquitted. It's almost like now they're making that a political thing too, even though somebody got shot at the end of the day. Oh wait, two people? Yeah, that's right. Oh no, wait, three people. Yeah, two dead and one maimed. Down, but whatever. Images posted on the Kukkiwon's Facebook page show Lee posing with Trump, who was wearing a dobak, the traditional Taekwondo uniform. The post disclaimer noted that the ceremony, organized by a South Korean living in the U.S., was not related to any other political issues. Trump and Lee posed in front of several photos on display, including that of the former president shaking hands with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Oh, that's interesting. Who knew? Trump said he will be wearing his dobak to Congress should he get elected president again. I guess he agreed. That guy makes so many promises I have yet to see actually be a real thing, Jesse. I'm just saying.
If he doesn't have like everybody kung fu fighting as like his background music, he lost points for me.
He said, well, Trump did say, we got to go to what he said. It is my honor to receive honorary Dan certificate. So it's a certificate. So you know how certificates can easily be printed out. And I think Taekwondo is magnificent martial art for self-defense. I wish to see Kukkiwon Taekwondo team's demonstration. Russian President Vladimir Putin, of course, he's got a do something about this, who was given the same belt, and the title of Grandmaster in 2013 while visiting Seoul, also has a black belt in judo. Now I will say Vladimir, I believe the Vladimir thing, because that guy is like fierce. Have you seen that guy? Like any Russian entity that like goes against him, yeah, he'll put them down. But I would believe he put in the time. I don't know that Trump put in the time. I'm waiting to see him prove, other than posing. I want to see him do a taekwondo move. Like, can you just show me what you can do with this? The two world leaders now outrank actor and martial arts champion Chuck Norris, who never advanced his 8th degree taekwondo black belt. But do you really need to? Like, as Chuck Norris? I don't think so. What does Chuck Norris have to say about this, Jesse?
I have no idea. To be honest, there's only one other person that I know that I follow, like, I guess celebrity-wise, that would be on the same rank as Chuck Norris. And that's Jason David Frank. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't. Not gonna lie.
He's the actor who played as the Tommy Oliver in Power Rangers back in the days. The Green Ranger.
Yes.
So, like, I think a few years back,
he can move.
He actually earned the 8th degree black belt, the same one that Chuck Norris has.
Yeah, but he like literally moves. Like he moves his whole body. I've never seen Trump do a thing. I mean, he might be like the Seagal. Him and Seagal maybe acted in a movie pretending they. Well, Seagal at least knows. I have yet to see. Okay, go ahead.
No. I was just like that's true. It's like I've seen Jason David Frank move. I've seen his martial arts. I haven't seen Trump do it, but it would be interesting to see.
Yeah, so there you go. Let's see. Let's go to social media comments when we get back right after these messages. I'm telling you, you never know who knows martial arts. I just still don't believe he does it. You never know. I won't judge that. You know what? Good job. You got your certificate for beating Chuck Norris. I think Chuck Norris can be a fist fight, but whatever. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Out the door, in the car, off to work. The same old morning routine. Take a break and stop for hot coffee or a latte and a fresh homemade cinnamon roll or chocolate cream puff. Donut Delight on Highland Springs Road in Banning is a locally owned family business with a friendly staff and customers who are always glad to see you. Get your morning off to a great start at Donut Delight on the corner of Highland Springs Road and Ramsey Street right off the I-10 freeway. Serving the Pass area for 22 years. Donut Delight is open at 4:30 a.m. daily.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state? Did you miss sending out a prior year tax return? The IRS is out to collect now more than ever, and they'll use any means necessary. They legally can and will garnish your wages, take your money, and even seize your property. If you're behind on your taxes, call the Tax Relief Hotline right now at 951-224-9000. That's 951-224-9000. 951-224-9000. You can legally get your tax debt under control, and in many cases get the breathing room you need. Garnished wages, property seizures, bank levies can stop immediately, but you have to call. Many of our specialists are IRS enrolled agents. They know the system and how to make it work for you. Don't wait for the IRS to come down on you. Act now so you can get your tax debt under control. Call the Riverside office today for free info at 951-224-9000. That's 951-224-9000. 951-224-9000.
Together We Are Strong is a product brand which stands for unity, equality, and protecting voting rights. Shop now at togetherwearestrong.com for t-shirts, hats, and coffee mugs. All voting rights profits are donated to Rock the Vote, an organization on a mission to empowering young voters. Become an activist without saying a word. Togetherwearestrong.com. Make a difference in America and the world. Shop online at togetherwearestrong.com. Give the gift that helps drive change. Go visit togetherwearestrong.com.
Your health truly is the greatest gift. At U-Theory, quality of life is at the heart of every product we make. From farm to shelf, we travel the world to source the purest, most efficacious, and clinically studied ingredients to create science-backed supplements that support beauty, emotional, digestive, and physical well-being. All U-Theory products are manufactured at our Southern California facility, ensuring the highest quality standards every step of the way. As a family-owned company, we celebrate the power of human potential with a mission to inspire wellness in all. Try U-Theory Immune Plus Daily Wellness. 100% daily values of vitamin C, D3, and zinc. Go beyond the you of today and catch the you of tomorrow. U-Theory.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News KMT 1490 AM. Let's go to the comments and social media. If you want to follow us, it's simple. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, and Twitter. We're streaming. Stephanie Reed says, hello, happy editing. This glorious sunshine. Awesomeness, busy. Gilmore, merrier day ahead for today. I'm not going to lie. I have not seen an episode of Gilmore, I think, ever, to be honest. I think I need to kind of tune into this, right? Isn't there like a thing whenever Thanksgiving happens? Remember when, speaking of Twilight Zone was like a whole day of that, and then you could watch like just, you know, back-to-back episodes. Do they still do that? I don't know. I don't watch TV anymore.
You know what? Honestly, I do not watch regular TV anymore either, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's funny when we think about like what's happened in a decade or like even 2 decades. What we used to do, what we don't do, and how the world's changing when it comes to the online world, right? Social media, live streaming, Zoom, and teleconferencing, and all the things. I think we're at an exciting point in history where we could say we need to adopt these things ahead of time. I know there were so many different people that were kind of selling this, and then like I remember last year we were talking about the Oculus and VR. I know VR is still set to explode. For those that still use it, I know it's pretty amazing, and I've seen some new gloves and haptic suits come out that they're going to want to, in the future want to promote. But I kind of feel like they should have promoted it already by now, because then everybody would be getting like a headset. But whatever. Mario Yankapulos over there in Canada says, "Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is well and having an awesome one. 2 times a week, me and kids go to visit all the older people in our area. Bring cookies, tea, and sandwiches." You know what? I love that you said that. That's called being mindful of those around us, right? And I appreciate that you do that. Let's see. Her advice about a hard case or hard drive: just buy a hard case, put the older hard drive in it, saves your data for free, or buy a cloud-based program to update your old data, and you will never lose it. Yeah, it's just evidently my computer like crashed and it went into a BIOS setting, so it kept like going in a circle of death, is what I call it. And it never logged into my Windows, so I was like, "What?" And all my video and all my hard drives. Although I think my data's on a different hard drive. I don't know. I got it repaired, but Best Buy didn't do the best job. So there you go. B&H Photo Video. Stephanie Reed says the best place to get hard drives is B&H Photo Video. I did not know that. Good to know. And there you go. Let's see. And Rosalie and I think Downey says our world has gone to what's that emoji where it's like, looks like little Frosted Freeze chocolate dipped ice cream? Is that the poop emoji?
Yeah, that's the poop emoji.
I know, I'm just messing with you. I remember one time when somebody said to me, "Look at that, that's poop." I go, "That cannot be poop. It has a little smile. That must be like a Foster Freeze little icon." Remember, like, anyone doesn't know, I used to go every Sunday with my family, and it's like a code, right? You put on the vanilla, right, and then you dip it in chocolate, and it like hardens the crust on the outside, and then you like taste it, you're like, "Oh, it's so delicious." I really thought that's what it was, and then somebody's, "No, it's a poop emoji." I go, "Why is it smiling? When does poop ever smile? That makes no sense." Nope, it's a poop emoji. So there you go. So I didn't know, Jesse. Some things I just don't know. I hold out for it. I still think it's a Frosted Freeze ice cream special, but
that's fine. I'll buy you a poop emoji pillow so you can cement that. in with you. You know.
Again, I feel like it's a Foster's Freeze icon. Let's see. Algenia Kirsten says, my dad is 75 who used to be in martial arts. Let's see. And bodybuilding. Yeah, he still can do it perfectly. And I appreciate that. Yeah. Maria says, I think Jean-Claude Van Damme can kick his butt. Well, Jean-Claude Van Damme can kick anybody's butt. But there you go. Let's see. No. Yeah, Mario says, I played on my VR headset last night. Not going to lie, I have not had any time to be on my VR headset. I'm a little upset by that. And Stephanie says, Gilmore the Merrier is a fun binge-a-thon, and you win prizes with trivia of each episode of Gilmore Girls. It's a good Thanksgiving tradition. A what? You get to win prizes? Okay, right there, I'm already with you. Stephanie, give us the how, the what, the when, and we'll share it right here. Speaking of how, what, and when, I saw an interesting thing yesterday, which is a whole, I got to get the name of it. I don't know the name of it. I should have made a picture of it, of this thing where it's like, you know, it's like take your family on an event day and you get to like do certain like activities. I got to bring it up. It was a really good thing to go ahead and kind of, you know, check out and invest your time on. But so there you go. All right. This is a news headline, which is one that kind of is concerning. And I know this year, you know, we have to kind of, you know, balance the news, of course, with realistic stuff, which unfortunately is what's going on with our environment, right? I think we've seen more disasters in this time than we have in past times. And I know in some years we see the usual stuff, right? Hurricanes, we see flooding, we see earthquakes. But as of this year, and I think last, if you take everything that has been kind of circulated around the world, if you watch world news, I watch world news. Sometimes I don't, sometimes my mom does. There are some very interesting things going on that science is saying, whoa, we need to pay attention. For example, researchers Julie Pullen and Natalie Gutkin wrote in a piece published in Scientific American, as ocean and atmospheric scientists focus on climate, we believe that oceanic oxygen levels are the next big casualty of global warming. What does that mean? In part, due to the effects of rising global temperatures, growing portions of the oceans have lost 10 to 40% of their oxygen. What? And that figure is forecast to continue growing due to climate change. Rising water temperatures and depleted oxygen, which pollution and nutrient runoff make worse, have been blamed for mass die-offs of fish. Okay, so if you ever see a picture of fish suddenly not being okay, that is the reason. Have you ever seen these where you're like, why are there all of a sudden a bunch of like schools of fish or schools of things that kind of get beached? What is going on in our waters? And I would almost say maybe this is why some whales and or sea life actually kind of beach themselves and we don't even know about it. You know what I mean, Jesse?
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, we dump so many things in our oceans and waters, waterways in general. It's honestly sad. I have no idea why we even do such things.
Yeah, it's one of those you go, what is going on with our environment? What's going on with our ocean life? And when you see a picture like this, where this was in Florida in July, thousands of dead fish float in the Boca Ciega Bay in Florida. So the authors wrote this, and this is interesting, and they've blamed these mass die-offs. These are in states like Florida, California, Oregon, Montana, Louisiana, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Washington, Idaho, Delaware, and Minnesota. They say while climate change is not the only cause for the fish kills, it is a contributing factor. So evidently they've done the research of what is going on, which is you need to pay attention to whenever animals start dying in mass quantities, right? And kind of start to do the correlation. So according to this article, very interesting, the authors wrote, as the amount of CO2 increases in the atmosphere. Now remember, I've been talking about this as of late because you have volcanoes at an ever-growing explosion amount, if you call it that, right? There are literally, I think, 28, possibly 29 potential volcanoes active, which are spewing all kinds of CO2 in the atmosphere. So that's not adding to anything good. You've got so many different things that, you know, the wildfires and other things that are just pumping lots of carbon into the atmosphere, we have to slow it down some way, some form. I've talked to some of the auto manufacturers as of this last week. Again, the LA Auto Show is happening right now. You can go get tickets, which is pretty cool. You can check out some of these vehicles, especially when it comes to hydro. And this is why I recommend hydro right here, right now on this. But it says here, as the amount of CO2 increases in the atmosphere, not only does it warm air by trapping radiation, it warms water. The interplay between oceans and the atmosphere is complex and interwoven. Yeah, very complex. But it is what I call the best thing that helps clean itself if we allow it to clean itself. The more trash, the more oil that we spew into our Earth's atmosphere and our oceans, we are clogging up the lungs of this Earth. That is what we're doing. It's like smoking for like 8 years and then looking at the lungs of a said person and saying, oh, okay, but the person's like, well, I'm going to die anyway. But it's a planet that we don't want to die, and it's trying to clean itself out. Does that make sense? So it's almost like if you had to term it as a person, and we always go like Mother Nature, if Mom was a Earth, I would say, Mom, we got to get your lungs taken care of, number one, right? We got to clean out all that tar, all that buildup, all that bleh. We got to get that out. That's number one. Number two, we got to get you maybe an inhaler because you're going to have a hard time breathing at some point. And number three, we got to make sure we replenish those cells in your lungs, right? So all of those things are the ocean, the Earth's atmosphere, the trees, the underwater ocean caverns. You don't know what kind of cool stuff they do as well. And then just, everything that we have here. We are on this beautiful, beautiful globe for a reason. And we need to remember, although there's outer space and although there's other planets, it's not like we could just dump all our stuff here and be like, oh yeah, I want to swim in all this trash, right? So it says here, oceans have taken up about 90% of the excess heat created by climate change. When a heat dome covered much of the Pacific Northwest in the summer, rising temperatures in streams and rivers resulted in mass die-offs of salmon and trout. An estimated 1 billion, with a B, marine animals along the coast of Canada were also killed as a result of the heat wave. Yikes! The grim reality has brought the urgency of global warming home for conservative residents of the home state for Senator Jeff Merkley, who's of Oregon, who earlier this month at the UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow, Scotland, actually talked about this. He said this, 15 years ago in rural parts of the state, people would say, oh, this is just some Ivy League invention. Today, he says, many of whom are fishermen, understand that the trout streams were warmer and smaller, and it affects them. Climate change is upsetting the delicate balance that helps provide abundant marine life. They go into some very interesting, science of it, but overall, I'll just say this for people that kind of, don't want to know numbers and all that. It is causing a problem for us here on this earth, and we need to get ahead of it, okay? I will say this. The things that we spew into the Earth's atmosphere, honestly, is not all our fault. And let me put that in a very, very bland way. What I mean by that is we're not the ones that come up with these technologies. We're not the ones that make these technologies happen. These technologies happen with or without us, right? We just do our part. We got to get to work. We got to do what we got to do. And we just got to do it in the best way that we can. Right, we buy a vehicle. We don't think about emissions. We don't even think about these things. We think about turning on the lights. We don't think about how we got the light. We just think, hey, it works. I need a light. What are you going to do? And they used to say, reduce your carbon footprint. But I will say this. Instead of thinking like reduce your carbon footprint, let's start thinking of how we can increase good, clean air, oxygen back into the Earth's atmosphere, right? And I believe there's a way that we can. I've been talking to the auto manufacturers about this, and if we could promote good, clean air fuel for the environment, with something that we already got to do. We already got to transport ourselves. We already got to do these things. Let's promote good, clean air fuel through clean air hydro, right? Let's do that. I know I keep talking about it. I sound like a poster child. You would think that they're paying me. They're not. But I can say this. If we had every single vehicle spewing good, natural water vapor, oxygenated water back into the Earth's atmosphere, all of us, without like polluting the Earth further, like with deep, dark, bleh. You ever be behind, have you ever been behind like a truck and it like you're like, God, this thing needs a smog check because it's like, boom, all that black stuff comes out and you're like, oh God, put the windows up because you're stuck in traffic. You're stuck right behind that one truck, right? That's our Earth. Can you guys stop doing that to me?
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, and that's what the fish had to do. Fish had to say, "Oh, thanks, people," and now we're all dead for it. You know, it's one thing for a fisherman to get fish. It's a whole other thing for our animal marine life to die like this all of a sudden. And I think a lot of the beached whales and a lot of the ones that just end up dead on the surface of the earth are saying, "Please, people, we need help. We need help. We need you guys to do the right thing. You're the caretakers of this world, not us. We're just swimming in it. But we need help, and we need you guys just to step up and do the right thing." Is vehicles a solution with clean hydro fuel? I don't know, but I think if more people invest in it, it's better than just, the old stuff, right? Which evidently we're all paying a high premium anyway. So it's like a win-win situation anyway. But are there other ways to clean the air? I believe so, yes. And I believe, when it comes to conserving energy, I believe, solar panels are amazing. I talked to a solar panel company, which actually has a really cool vehicle. Again, it's there in North Hall. Go check it out at the LA Auto Show. And they have this cool big vehicle. It looks like a massive, I don't know, like a wannabe massive, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just massive. And it's a truck, but it's like a futuristic truck, right? And they have like a few in production already. But it's all powered by solar panels on the top of it, and it has this cool like portion where it like folds on the basin of the not the basin but of the truck, and it kind of folds like an accordion, kind of like you ever seen those like roly polies when they fold up and then they have like the little ridges? It looks like that, but for the back. And I'm like, oh, it looks like a roly poly in my head. I was thinking, and then they're all solar panels, and it generates enough solar energy for the vehicle to go really far and anywhere, really. And all you need is just to charge it up during the day, leave it out in the sun at Walmart and or Best Buy, and boom, you got solar for at least, I think, a day and a half or so. It was pretty amazing, but that's clean energy, right? You put that thing, put it to the battery. Granted, the battery, after, just like our cell phones, kind of get worn over time. But there's so many ways to enhance these things using so many cool technologies. I know I had a discussion with an engineer about automotive design and engineering, and we were talking about space, and we were talking about certain things and certain technologies that you can actually implement right now using magnets for good. And I will say, after that discussion, he's like, "I got to make these things happen." I'm like, "Yeah, you make these things happen for good." But you always got to be mindful that there are certain things that could be harmful for the environment, right? I've been seeing a huge influx of DC current energy centers that they're coming out with. And I say, why are we going backwards with DC when AC is technically much better? DC was actually invented by Thomas Edison. But if you do the research, Thomas Edison was limiting his supply by doing DC. This is why everybody has gone from DC to AC really quick. But this is why you have to, like, when you go to Europe, there's certain areas where it's like a DC plug versus AC. DCs can cause fires. And I remember talking to somebody. I said, "What's the problem with DC?" And he says, "Well, DC can cause fires, actually, the way it transport." And I said, "Yeah, exactly. AC, alternating current, is cyclical. So if you think of like a clock, just think of the way a clock goes. A clock goes clockwise, right? And as long as it goes clockwise, that's natural to the Earth's environment. Everything, honestly, if you look at the Earth's environment, is a clockwise cyclical situation. And each time it goes in clockwise, it always goes further, faster, longer, and then some. And the good news with saying that is it actually is important for the rest of the world to understand AC is technically not harmful to the environment. DC, if you do the research, it goes alternating. It goes not for good long. So I would say to the electric companies out there, stop selling DC when in reality AC is already a thing. Make it as alternating current, which is actually what AC stands for, and make sure it works for good, because all of our electric vehicles that people are starting to buy are hybrids that they're starting to charge with are DC operated. And I feel that you could do more with AC than DC. I know it sounds like AC/DC, the band, but it's not the same thing. Right, Jesse?
That is true. I remember, was he? I think what you said, Edison was promoting DC.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I didn't even learn about Tesla and alternating current until when I was out of high school. So it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Well, it is disappointing. It's one of those where Edison made himself a name, but Tesla was the unappreciated inventor of the century. That man predicted way ahead of time that you would have at least an electric vehicle, when at the time, like, vehicles weren't even a big thing. He helped invent wireless technology. He helped inspire a whole generation of wireless technologies, even known as Marconi, who helped invent radio. This man was not given his just desserts, and he died homeless, in essence. I mean, granted, he had a little apartment, but he was alone all the time, and he honestly didn't make a dime in the end. They stole all of his patents. They stole all of his inventions. They stole all of his ideas. I mean, if Da Vinci were around, I think Da Vinci and him would have said, what the heck? Why do people do this to us, right? But the reality is, these are the inventors of our generation, and we need to give them the just desert of respect, because he wanted to do what nobody has done yet: allow for people to get free energy around the world. He said, and he predicted this, if you just spew it out into the Earth's atmosphere in a certain way, at a certain level, you could tap into this. You know how people do wireless charging, but they have to have a device on it? He came up with wireless technology of energy way back in the early, well, do the math and do the research. Tesla. You will be fascinated by the things that you see. And you go, why are we going backwards with Edison technology when we can go forward with Tesla technology? I know it's just a vehicle, but remember, that's an Elon Musk thing. Tesla technically has no, I don't know why he used his name, but it makes sense because it's called, hey, yeah, but Tesla was a real guy. Look it up. All right, people, we're going to take a quick little break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Facing a criminal charge and the possibility of a jail sentence can be terrifying. Wallen and Claridge is here to help you. Call 877-466-5245. Our law firm has been successfully defending clients facing crimes for over 40 years. We have offices throughout Riverside and San Bernardino County. Call us at 877-466-5245. That is 877-4NO-JAIL for a free phone consultation. We will be there when you call.
KMET AM 1490 presents Cal State San Bernardino basketball. This Wednesday night, November 24th at 7:30 p.m., the Coyotes host Westcliff University in an important non-conference game, live from Casulas Arena in San Bernardino. I'm Mitch McClellan. Join me as the Coyotes meet the Warriors. Cal State San Bernardino basketball broadcasts are brought to you by Dignity Health, Hatfield Buick GMC, and the Hyatt Place Hotel, Ontario Mills. That's Cal State San Bernardino basketball action live from San Bernardino this Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. on your exclusive radio home for Coyote basketball, KMET AM 1490.
Join West Coast Business Review with Daryl McCants each Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock p.m. Daryl focuses on successful businesses from California's southern border to Canada, including the great border states of Arizona and Nevada. Every week, Daryl provides in-depth discussions and interviews with prominent leaders and innovators that makes all of our lives better and more productive. West Coast Business Review with Daryl McCants, Wednesdays at 4 o'clock p.m. right here on Smart Talk Radio.
Standard time is here. That means shorter days and cooler nights that make you want to stay inside. Don't get caught in the cold. Franklin Mechanical Systems can do a preventative maintenance check on your heating unit. Get it working right. For cleaning, repair, or a new installation, call them for a free estimate. Franklin Mechanical Systems, for all your residential and commercial heating and air conditioning needs. Call their Beaumont office at 951-845-1000. That's 951-845-1000, and stay warm today.
Here's to your health with Joshua Lane. Ideas you can use to be healthy and stay healthy. The current thinking about beauty, fitness, and longevity. Every Tuesday and Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Wellness talk you can use. Here's to your health with Joshua Lane on KMET, naturally.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. Let's go to the smart comments in the room. Smart comments and social media. Let's see. Algenia Kirsten says, think about it. Yep, you are 100% true on that. Mario says, I believe we have to try and save the planet Earth. Eh? Yeah, turbines are a safe way to save power too. And actually, not wrong on that. And it's interesting that you talk about that. I just saw an article on that very said thing. She also says, I use a compost bin. Feed the animals outside our leftover fruits and veggies. We have a ton of rabbits outside. Every spring, me and the kids do some offshore cleaning. We do our part, even though it's not much. You know what? I will say this. Maria's like one of those everything girls. You know what I mean? Like, Maria is a nurse. She helps out the environment, and she takes care of her family and then some. I mean, she's one of those that I say, you know what? We need more of that. We need more of that. We don't have that, right, sometimes. So, Maria, I think you're the one to celebrate today 100%. You keep doing the right thing, and you do so with your family, and you keep them busy, and you keep a roof over their head, and you work hard. You're on the front line. I know as a nurse, you kind of give us the 411 on what's going on, and sometimes she comes here to the States just to help out as well. So that is somebody really with a big, big, big heart who I say, thank God you're alive and well. I know she kind of has been very honest about her story, and I think you should write a book about that at some point, Maria. Not anytime soon, because I know you're busy saving the earth, and of course, people from day to day, being a nurse and your family as well, by making sure that they're safe. But having said that, let me go to something that, I just saw, and I'm like, well, do I want to share it? Do I not? Okay, why not? And here it is. Wind power risks becoming too cheap, says top turbine maker. What does that mean? The head of Siemens Gamesa warned that a decade-long race to bring down the cost of generating wind power could not continue, as it would reduce the financial muscle of turbine producers to continue investing in new technologies. Well, I don't understand that. A boom in investments in green energy to address climate change has helped bring down the cost of wind power to a level where it can compete with fossil fuels like coal and gas. Isn't that a good thing, then? That sounds like good. Chief Executive Andreas Naun said, what we've clearly achieved is that wind power is now cheaper than anything else. Good. But I believe we shouldn't make it too cheap. Oh, God, they're stupid. You know what? Seriously, I feel as though, Jesse, there are dumb people running the world. Like, what do you mean you shouldn't make it too cheap just because it can be cheap? In Europe, wind and solar currently, what are we going to say, Jesse? Go for it.
Money rules the world, which is the reason why medicine will never be cheap.
Seriously, it's so backwards thinking. I'm going to call it out right now. Okay, yeah. He said, now in Europe, wind and solar currently are significantly cheaper than coal, good, natural gas, and nuclear power, according to Bernstein Research. Again, good. It's natural. It's the wind. Demand for wind turbines is at a record high. Again, good, driven by the green transition, but lower prices and increased competition have squeezed margins. You mean your profit margins? Then invest in something else to get the world going on again, man. Don't be stupid. Seriously, what are you doing? Removing, obviousness from this? Of course it should be cheaper. The whole fact that if it is cheaper, we're going to have more wind turbines, and we're going to harness the Earth's energy for wind, and we're going to have enough electricity for everyone using wind turbines. Look, wind turbines is not the only way to generate electricity. Obviously, we've got solar energy, we've got new white water, hydro energy, we've got water energy as well that go through certain dams and generate electricity as it goes through turbines. We got all forms of different generators working on natural, clean environments of this earth, right? It's not just, we're not making it virgin. We got to go back the way that we'll make more expensive. You going to live like that? You going to be old man Hubbard? Don't be old man Hubbard. Oh, my God. Noun said, we have probably driven it too far. Noun, I'm sure you made your money. I'm pretty sure you got money for days. I'm pretty sure your investors have made their money and more. I'm pretty sure your margins could be streamlined just a little during a pandemic. Be glad you have a job. The industry's ability to keep investing in new technologies and factories will be reduced if the drive to cost wind power continues at the same rate, he added. I'm not an economist, but I'm going to tell you right now, that is the stupidest statement ever since sliced bread. And believe me, sliced bread has had its day. Wind turbine makers' operating margins are also being squeezed by rising costs stemming from the supply crunch and high prices for raw materials such as steel. Do you know how much steel there is in the world? It's not going anywhere, people. And actually, if you don't make it out of steel, you can make it out of plastic. That'd be pretty awesome. It's lighter, it moves faster, and with the right coil, it actually can enhance a wind turbine. Is anybody thinking about that? Seriously stupid. Both Siemens Gamesa and its main rival Vestas have said that they have been able to pass on part of the higher costs to customers. Of course they have. Of course. We're always the one to pick up the bill, which is likely to be reflected in higher auction prices and power purchase agreements over time. Again, who are we making rich? Yeah. Earlier this month, Vestas slashed its 2021 outlook for a second time this year and now expects an operating profit margin of 4%, which again isn't bad. Anywhere from like 1 to 3% is good for a profit margin to continue over the next 8 years, especially during a pandemic. God, you're stupid. Versus 5 to 7% previously, a far cry from its long-term margin of a 10% margin. Do you know how hard it is to get a 10% margin on any thing over like 8 years? Once it's come out, I mean, you got competition, you dummy. Siemens Gamesa has pushed out the horizon at which it expects to hit its long-term margin target of 8 to 10% or 2024 or 2025 from 2023 previously. I mean, I'll give them one thing. At least they're looking ahead for the world. Maybe. Governments around the world are phasing out generous wind subsidies, opting for more competitive contract tenders, and favoring project developers that submit the lowest bids. Yeah, it's called we're all in a crunch. We kind of need to kind of narrow down our spending. It's not like... You know, here's an idea. Brainchild of the year. How do you make more money really quick, really fast? Offer it to farmers. They have so much land in those areas. Offer a bunch of wind turbines to farmers. And then help them generate the power for their own stuff. And say, look, we'll co-partner with you. We'll go, maybe not 50-50. We'll go 80-20. And you, generate the power using all of your land. How about we do that? Right? It's not hard. Just put it in areas, make sure it's always facing the wind. We're in high wind areas, and you're good. Governments around the world are phasing out generous wind subsidies. That's their caution there. We need to change auction systems in the future. He suggested criteria such as local job creation should be considered instead of focusing only on price. Again, it's called distribution. You just need to get more distributing wind power generators in certain areas, offer it as a business and offer it as a thing, as a opportunity to said farmers. I already made that suggestion for solar farms, by the way, and I hope they, do that. But there you go. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Bye-bye, everybody. All right, I gotta just come back on this. I ran out of time. I hate to do it like that. Like it's always they don't give the last couple minutes of the hours, so I'm always like But anyway, for those of you who download the app, KMT 1490 AM. I just have to speak on this because I did make a suggestion again, and I'm like, and in talking to them, I hope they take it, but sometimes people forget. And so I just want to put this out there, okay, for somebody that's watching for an idea. All you need to do is make it a business, okay? If you are a company out there that has the ability to produce solar panels, for example, let's just throw this out here, okay? I don't have a gazillion dollars. If I did, here's what I would do with it. I would buy up land like crazy. Make sure to put a bunch of solar panels on the land. Send the power through so many different means. There's wireless technology, then there's wire technology. I would probably start more inland to a city than not, and just make a solar farm. Okay, it's easy to do, much easier than buying a piece of land, putting a home on it, paving the road, paving things to it, getting permits and all that such things. All you have to do is get a bunch of land, Nevada, Arizona, shoot, here in California, in the high desert, although there's certain laws that don't make it that easy. But all you have to do is get a good 3 acres. Okay, how many areas that you see in the dead of desert where nothing happens, right? Now, if you go from here in LA to Las Vegas, to the left of the 15 freeway, you will see massive amounts of solar panels and wind turbines, okay? And you'll see these things, right? And that's usually government-owned or government contracted, okay? And they send out that energy across the grid, usually north and south here to California, as a subsidy of other energy that they generate from other areas as well. And they have contracts which go from place to place, and they monitor it all by kilowatt, right? Now, having said that, every home can generate its own amount of electricity via certain solar panels. But the technology has made it so expensive that if you do the research, you probably won't get your money back in investment if you purchase them right out for another 8 to 12 years. And that depends on your credit. That depends on your ability to generate any said amount of electricity based on, like, if you have a tree overhead, if you have certain things like, hiding the sunlight, and harnessing the best electricity for your solar panels, because solar panels can be a little tricky if they're not installed correctly. So you want to make sure, A, you get a good solar panel, B, that you get it installed properly, and C, that you have the ability, and I propose this for solar panels, that they start rotating, because your roof isn't cutting it, okay? You can increase productivity by allowing these solar panels to be able to basically move with the sun. Okay, and it's not hard. It's actually very easy. And as they track in the sun at optimal speed, you're able to actually have the sunlight there. So even if it's a hot day or a cloudy day or a sunny day, you can maximize the amount of exposure that your solar roof actually has the ability to have. Now, some of you have solar roofs, and I say, good job. Great job, actually. Because in 8 years' time, if you pay it down really quick and fast, free energy for years to come. You just want to make sure, again, it's never broken. It harnesses good energy. You got to clean them off every, I would say 3 years. Hose them down. Make sure you get a good clean wiper, and then just hose them down. And then that'll take off all the soot, all the dust, all the stuff that actually inhibit good solar power energy to your home, right? But let's just put it this way. If you've ever gone down the road and you see on certain roofs of parking lots, right? I'll give you a perfect example. In the high desert, they have a bunch of overhead, nice, like under the shade roofs. But on top of that, they have solar panels, right? Let's take every single business out there that has a roof, a flat roof, right? And let's just say, in order to reduce costs, you invest in a bunch of solar panels on each and every flat roof, right? Now, you usually will produce more than enough for that said building. But then, if you have the ability to sell it back to the energy company, you actually end up in a really good position. And that's exactly what solar panels do for homes. If you don't have one, when you produce enough amount of power, that's what happens. That's why you have like a credit sometimes, and you don't owe anything at all after a while. And if they offset it properly, you can actually basically it's almost like for free, but because you have to initialize the first payment of how much it is to install it, how much it is for the purchasing of it, and how much it is to make sure it continues not broken or anything else. Then, of course, you got to kind of maintain it over time. So there's certain lease agreements that are done, and it's kind of marginally okay for you. But I would say this, the technology needs to go next level. And here's why I say that. We have the ability, even with our farmers here in California and across the states and in other countries as well, to invest in solar right here, right now. And I propose this. If farmers who are already hurting through drought, who are already hurting financially because they can't pay back the, they're in a credit decline. Yeah. And this is the hard part to say. But farmers are hurting because they are trying to pay back their bills and they're not able to produce as much as they wanted to back in the day. And I blame Monsanto for that, but whatever. Having said that, they need to subsidize what it is they're losing. Otherwise, we're going to lose the farms of today. And if you have a farm, you have a family, you have financial means up to a point, and you have stress for days. Nobody thinks about the farmer anymore. We love our fruits and vegetables. We do. We love our fruits and vegetables, but we rarely remember where our fruits and vegetables come from, because we live in a society where, honestly, let me take these out. I don't even need these in. Where we live in a society where we kind of just go to the store, we get it, and it's home, right? We do not think of our farmers. And I would propose this. They have a lot of land. If a solar panel company producer says to a landowner, hey, I'm going to give you a really good book of business, okay? You see that piece of land that you're not using anything? Or let's say you need to kind of generate certain... oh, that's right. Some plants don't need harsh sun. Sometimes you'll see them under canopies, right? Why don't you just build that and put it over and create a lot of additional real estate? Because you can always build up, right? Now, if you could build up, how many different ways can you build up? Or on top of each other, or to the side of each other, or like a cascading, and all of a sudden, now you've got this situation for multiple tiers. Or you put it all in one, just depends how you engineer it, right? There are ways to harness the sun's energy that's already giving off its energy for free. It's like, take my energy, right? So take it and use it. It's free, right? You know, it's not going to harm you guys, all right? So it's already there. Radiant energy is one of the best things that we have been able to harness over quite some time. The adoption of solar panels, I think in the 50s, maybe the 60s, definitely in the 80s. Granted, they were bigger, they were bolder, they were kind of only adopted by those that were like thinking about the future and were like, oh, wow, one day, right? And now the technology has gotten thinner, more streamlined, and more amazing. And I would say Tesla actually had a hand in that because he has all electric vehicles, right? So I would say let's get ahead of that. Electric vehicles need fuel for energy. But where do they get the fuel from? Do they get them from wind turbine? Do they get them from solar? Do they get them from, again, which a very good comment was about fossil fuel. Okay, nobody talks about fossil fuel unless, of course, you're a political figure. And then all of a sudden you talk about fossil fuel. It seems, yay, great. And then it goes away by the wayside, all right? Coal, fracking. There's so many different ways that you can generate electricity. Oil rigs, right, that drill down into the Earth's core, crust, right? But I think of that movie Core when they were like, they take the drillers and they go down to the core and then the magma. Oh yeah, that's right. We got volcanoes going on all over the world. There's so many things. Hurricanes, there's cyclones. We had a bomb cyclone up north here, which hasn't happened since the 50s. The Earth is upset. Period. End of story. And if you think it's not, you haven't been paying attention to the world headlines. Forget about LA headlines or San Bernardino headlines or, local headlines. I'm talking about the world. So going back to solar panels, okay? Solar panels, if you take a land, an acre land that hasn't ever been used, and say, let's see what the math is on that. Let's go ahead and put solar panels, a good, not even the full acre. Maybe you're like, oh, I don't know if it's going to pay for itself. But if you took out a loan for that and you proved that you can actually produce that amount of power to subsidize the loan amount, I would think you can actually do it at a 1% loan and actually come out ahead by a good, well, I don't know. Have you done the math? I don't think anybody has. And I think to the solar industry, all you have to say is this: make it a business, make it an income opportunity. If you can make money at it, people will be likely to adopt it. Now, if you say to a landowner, maybe a farmer, or maybe just a person in, I don't know, the desert, okay? Nobody uses it except little iguanas and little snakes that go right? I hate snakes, by the way, just so you know. I do not like rattlers, but whatever. But my point is this: everything needs something to live, right? Okay, so you take a piece of that, right? Do it very safely. And then you just create a bunch of solar panels, put them on there, and the rest is history. I guarantee you'll make money. Yeah, it's a solar power business proposal. This is my business proposal. Let's say I'm a solar company, okay? Let's just throw this out there. I'm a solar company, and I have the ability to give you solar at a cost. Are you going to do it? No, the answer is no. Another debt? What do I want to do? Okay, fine. Let's not do that. Swipe that to the board, to the side. Put that board to the side, yeah. And as a solar company, I'm going to say this. Why don't we go and do a profit margin thing? We'll help you with the initial cost, and we'll stay business partners for the next 8 years, which happens to be that amount of time where, you typically make it back in and then some. And what you just say is, look, we'll provide these not for free, but it's going to pay itself back in at least 3 years because we have better solar power, energy efficient energies. And we make the deal with the said companies, but we're going to give you a profit margin, okay, for that land. And it's no different than what Verizon and other said carriers do for those cell towers, by the way. Whenever you see those towers on there, they actually rent that space on a building and or land. Some of you have seen these cool little tree-like things, right, that look like, trees because they're painted, but they're technically cell towers. Those areas, they reach out, and if you're a landowner, they make you a deal. They make you a profit just for putting it where it is. All right? Now, having said that, there's all kinds of questions about 5G and 6G and 7G coming up down the line, especially in Asian countries. But you just need a piece of land to put something there, and then they rent it from you. So, do you get where I'm going with this? If a solar panel company uses the same model to make sense to everyone, to say, look, we're going to go ahead and make it a business income opportunity for you by we do the work, we just need to split the profit margins, not 50-50 because there's no money in it, 80-20. Okay, we'll give you 20, which is still a good amount of business, especially for an acre of land. With an acre of land, you can actually produce enough energy with the right solar panels for at least a full city of 800,000 people. Bam! What? Is it that easy? It actually is. And that's a sad fact that nobody understands. That you don't need a lot of, well, let's put it this way. If you have that amount of solar panels on an acre, and you could produce that much for 800,000 people in a given city, what do you think you're going to do with that profit? It might be marginally at first, but within 3 years, on an acre, you'll probably produce at least $1.8 million, conservatively, depending on the efficiency of it all. $1.8 million. And I said, yeah, sure, this is the piece of land. Boom, okay. Now everybody's thinking, whoa, what kind of land can I buy? Wait, I got to land in Utah. I got to land in Georgia. I got to land in Atlanta, right? Yeah, why not? It's not hard. It's not difficult. The only thing I would say is get it from a trusted supplier. Okay, that's number one. Get it from a technology that makes sense. And then get it from one that is very, very easy to service. Because they do break down. So they're electronic parts. Anything that's electronic part is going to break down. So I would say don't break the bank. But even, let's say you go with the least efficient one. All right, and you expect your return within 8 years. Okay, again, 8 years. A very least efficient one. You don't do your work. You're kind of wondering, and you only do maybe a little bit at a time, right? You get an acre, and you start off with at least, I don't know, like an 80 by 80 foot grid. Okay, you do that, 80 by 80 feet of just solar panels. You invest in that, you'll still make at least 1.8 million within 8 years' time. You're still in a profit margin because this land usually is cheap, free, and or if you're already sitting on it and you haven't used it in this way. Okay, it's not that difficult, people, but people make it difficult. So don't make it difficult, okay? Look at it as a income opportunity. And again, if somebody knows somebody in the energy sector, I would say you might want to do this ahead of time, all right? I would say, I mean, if Tesla weren't busy running SpaceX and thinking about the Mars situation and going to the moon again and again and having these free rides and stuff. I get it. He's doing big world things, but somebody's got to take that energy sector from him because he had a really good idea for solar panels, and it was on certain roof shingles. And honestly, it doesn't look like big, massive those big blocks that nobody likes on the roof. And I said, the moment I saw it, I said, that's what it's going to take. Because if it looks like a really good shingled roof, who cares, right? Granted, they don't move or anything, but still, they were highly energy efficient and able to absorb the sun more because of the way they were created. Okay, so because they're kind of curved, and there's something about the curve that actually absorbs more than not. So sometimes flat isn't always the best, but people have to figure out different ways of harnessing the sun's energy and then, of course, storing it. So there you go. Let's see. Maria says, I will buy, own panels